it takes a lot of your time at the start. However, with that being said, as time goes by, you can afford to take a step back, especially when you start scaling it by hiring staff and implementing systems that can run whilst you're not there. Now I probably spend less than a couple of hours a week actually in this store. Secondly, how much money do you need? I'm going to rate this 4 out of 5 stars because although the initial stage of, how do I get the money is tricky to overcome, you don't have to do it all alone. And there are so many investors, loans and crowdfunding methods that can get you there, especially if they see the potential in your business. Thirdly, how easy is it to make $100 per week? You know what? For this one, I'm going to say 5 out of 5 stars. If you're really passionate about what you're selling and you know the ins and outs of the niche, then you'll sell. To be a top seller, you have to make the customer buy into not just the products, but into you. Second is my own brand and product range, which I manufacture in China and distribute all over the world. When I was younger, the idea of seeing my own products on the shelves of other shops seemed just like a dream. I would sit in school staring at my drawings of model aeroplane designs, thinking, how can I make this happen? I always thought you had to have millions of dollars, niche connections, or a huge team behind you to make it a reality. I was wrong. Little did I know, years later, I'll be sat clutching onto my designs I drew as a kid on a plane heading to China. So how did I go from a kid with a dream on a piece of paper to a successful brand owner? Well, I took 3 key steps that you can replicate to get started with your own brand. Step 1 is picking a niche. Back in my day, model aeroplanes were all the rage. If people weren't watching the latest competitions or going crazy for new designs, they were busy collecting kits and accessories to customize their own. It had what's known now as a cult following. You need to identify a popular niche with lasting appeal, not just a fleeting fad. I'd personally start by following Instagram pages and joining in on the conversations. You need to know what the people in this niche are passionate about. Also try to understand their challenges to use to your advantage. Step 2. Keep an eye on trends. Take a brand like Represent, for example. I mean, it just got so popular out of nowhere and ended up on everyone's Christmas list. They recognized the growing trend for oversized clothing within the fashion industry and quickly capitalized on it with their oversized hoodies and tracksuit sets. This is where they really made a name for themselves. It's interesting because if you look at them now, they're moving more towards fitness gear with their 24/7 range because they're following new and rising trends. Here in the UK, fitness has become so popular with 74% of people owning fitness products. I mean, even the nightclubs are shutting because young people aren't drinking as much. It's clear that Represent have spotted this trend and created a new clothing range to meet the demand. You should aim to do the same in your chosen niche. Step 3 is creating a culture. If you can build a real community around your products, that is the secret sauce. It's not just about selling stuff anymore. People feel like they want to be part of something bigger. This way your brand sticks around because customers are all in, not just for what you're selling, but for the whole vibe. My son Curtis recently participated in the Super 10K Spartan race, which was filled with obstacles like monkey bars, rope climbs, and even swimming through icy water. It's become more than just a race. It's now become a movement where people go to test their limits and meet like-minded individuals. They've built a genuine community with around 1.5 million people participating last year. There's even been a wedding ceremony on the start line with the whole wedding party completing the course. So maybe have a think about how you can do this too in your own niche. Now, onto the rankings. Firstly, how much time does creating your own brand take? I'd say a 2 out of 5 for this one because you're going to have to put in the work. You'll have to post online consistently to build the audience, keep up to date with research, and also keep up to date with trends so you can ride with them instead of drowning in them. Secondly, how much money do you need? I'd give this one a 3 out of 5 because you do need some initial capital, but once sales start rolling in, growth can happen quickly and you can then reinvest that money to fuel further expansion. Thirdly, how easy is it to make $100 per week? I'd rate this 4 out of 5 stars if you've completed steps 1 and 2, and 5 out of 5 if you've achieved all 3. Once you've built hype and people are talking about your brand on social media, there's no reason you can't easily make $100 per week. Third is my eBay store, where I buy stock from failing shops and sell it online. Not to toot my own horn, but I made quite a name for myself in the model industry, and people started asking me to help them with their failing businesses. With all my experience and knowledge, I thought to myself, Why not? Before I knew it, it became a side hustle. I remember the first time I visited a struggling store and offered them a lump sum in exchange for their stock. I then listed the items on eBay in my spare time, and I was completely shocked by the results. I managed to triple my money, so I just kept going and bought lots more failing businesses. Before long, I ended up with this warehouse full of gear behind me. Now my team just lists these items on eBay for me. It's become a huge part of my business, and I never imagined my little side hustle could transform into something as big as this. I know what you're thinking, but Mark, I don't have enough money to just buy failing businesses. How can I do this too? Well, here's my best advice for getting started with eBay. Step 1 is to identify businesses run by older people. The world has changed a lot, and the traditional methods aren't as effective anymore. That's just how the world is. It just keeps on changing, and you've got to change with it if you want to stay on top. Unfortunately, some older business owners are just left in the dust. This is where you come in. Step 2 is to approach these older owners and ask if you can try and offload the stock they can't sell, then list and sell it on eBay in exchange for a commission. This way, they get rid of their dead stock and you can earn some extra cash. It's a win-win. Over time, you'll be able to build up profits, and this is where the game changes. Step 3 is to use your profits to start buying directly from your own supplier. This is a huge turning point because you'll be in control of the products you offer, the pricing, and the customer experience. This gives you far more flexibility for profits and enables you to build up a strong reputation as a seller. This is crucial for scaling this side hustle into a real business. Okay, once again, it's time to rank it in my categories. Firstly, how much time does running an eBay shop take? Well, I'd say this is a 3 out of 5, if not a 4, because you don't need to come up with any of the products or designs. You're simply selling someone else's stock. If you've got things running smoothly, then there's no reason why you can't be selling in your sleep. Secondly, how much money do you need? I'm going to rate this a 5 out of 5 because you can actually get started with $0, especially if you're selling stuff for a commission like I recommended. It's really accessible and a great way to get stuck into business and learn on the go. Thirdly, how easy is it to make $100 per week? I'm going to rate this a 5 out of 5 because all you have to do is sell 50 items with a $2 profit on each and boom, you've made an extra $100 that week. Fourth is the stock market, where I invest my money and let it grow over time. I'm no financial advisor, but in my humble opinion, this is something everyone should be doing because without investing, your money is losing value due to inflation. Over the last 60 years, this averages out to be a loss of 3.8%